Well, hello folks, and welcome to another Sunday edition. And today I'm going to be looking at my top 10 vlogs and locations around Scotland and from Scotland's mountains. I got a great response to the questions and that I had maybe 2 Wednesdays ago, just with this current situation, asking you guys what videos you'd like me to do, because I'll be doing a lot more from the office. This is a Saturday. I'll not be going out for, well, we don't know how long I'll not be going out for, so there'll be a lot more of these sort of vlogs coming up. Although that's not going to affect the Wednesday ones for quite some time, but I'll come on to that. I'll give you an update on that at the end of the video. But this video is all about my best adventures and possibly some of my best vlogs. Well, what I think are anyway. It'd be interesting to see if you guys agree with me. And I've been to some great places across Scotland and adventured around the Scottish mountains. So I thought I'd do this one first, and the reason for that is I think, given the current situation, it might possibly give you guys some ideas of other adventures of mine to watch, some which you may not have seen. So anyway, enough waffling. Let's get cracked right on and straight into it and find out what's at number 10. So at number 10 in the list, we're visiting Scotland's highest mountain, Ben Nevis, and this day was just, it was a beautiful day, and it goes all the way back to February 2013, and this is probably one of my most watched videos on the page, and it was certainly the first sort of video that I think I had any decent views on when I first started the channel. Up until this point, my videos were in the tens of views as opposed to anything more, and this is the first one which got more views, and there was a reason for that. It was one of those bluebird days. There'd been quite a good spell of weather actually. It'd been a cold February and bright blue skies, and I decided to go up the Ben. And I've been up the Ben quite a few times, and I've never actually been up Ben Nevis from Glen Nevis, and this is another one of those days. I parked at the North Face car park, and the route I was doing on this day was the Carnmore Gerard Garrett. And for me, for walkers, it's a very easy scramble in benign conditions. It's probably the best way up, but don't be fooled, it's still a long day. You're starting not far off sea level and doing a big round, but the views you get at Ben Nevis from the Arrett and this eastern side are just fabulous. So the way I did it, I left early as per usual, got up early and left the North Face car park, and as I got higher there was a fog bank over Glen Speen and Fort William. It was just one of those days. It was lovely. There was very little wind, and as opposed to following the normal track up onto the ridge, I kind of walked in a bit further towards the CIC hut and headed up one of the banks of snow. It was a steeper ascent, and it allowed me to get the crampons on and the ice axe out and sort of front point up the steeper slopes to gain the top, not far off Carnmore Gerard actually, and then from there it was just splendid. I mean, it was absolutely stunning. The sweeping array going all the way up, and the conditions weren't difficult. As I said, there was no wind, it was blue sky, the snow had been well consolidated, and there'd been people on there for about a week beforehand, and the weather had been pretty settled, so there was a path, and yeah, it was just delightful. There's some airy bits in it, to be honest with you. And I tell you another thing about this video is I actually forgot my GoPro mount for putting it onto my helmet, and I remember thinking, oh, how am I going to capture this? And I had a selfie stick, and it was that mount that was on the GoPro. So I put the GoPro on the selfie stick and stuffed it down between my rucksack and my back, so it was up above me looking down. And I think it's about the only time I've done that. I've done it once or twice, but I think it really works. And that was just, it gives you a good, I mean, the fisheye effect of the GoPro gives you a good sort of appreciation. And maybe it over eggs it a wee bit. It makes it look steeper than it actually is, but certainly makes the views look spectacular. That was a great day. Only met 2 people on the hill that day. I met them on the walking, and they were going up ledge route up to the summit and back down the Carnmore Gerard Garrett, and I met them again at the summit, and I didn't meet anybody else until I was about at the halfway lock-in. So sometimes it just pays to get up early and get a bit of solitude. So that's my number 10. Let's move on to number 9. And what have we got at number 9? Oh, well, this is another fabulous location in Scotland, and it's a mountain that's, you probably haven't heard of this mountain. It's not the same. You hear people talking about Anchelic and Ben Nevis, Ben Lomond, all the famous ones. This mountain is right up there with it. In fact, it surpasses, in my opinion, a lot of these hills, and it's relatively unknown. To those who are familiar with the Scottish Hills will know it. It's not a Munro, it's a Corbett, and it sits on the western side of the Northwest Highlands. So you get lovely sea views, views over to the western seaboard and what have you, and it's fantastic. And it's a hill called Ben Van, and it's quite close to a place called Applecross. It's just a magnificent mountain. And this adventure, I actually spent 3 days on this one mountain, two overnight camps, and I did it with hopefully you'll have all heard of Tom. I've done quite a few videos with Thomas since then, and this was just a fantastic adventure. I was super excited to meet Thomas. He'd contacted me a few weeks before, and I wondered where could we go, which might provide Tom. He's a landscape photographer, and I'd been up Ben Van I don't know, probably a couple of weeks before this trip, and yeah, we decided to meet there, and it was during the summer of 2018, and those of you with good memories will remember that was a stonking summer. From about, I think it was late April right through to June, the weather was just stunning, and it was certainly stunning on this trip. And we met up, and this if you want to watch these films, it's actually a trilogy of 3 films, so it gives you a bit more steaming boots to watch. And the first video saw us meeting up and heading in, and we walked so far in, basically to the base of the mountain, and there was this lovely secluded beach with this loching beside it, and the mountain and the cliffs behind it. It was just a fantastic camp spot. So the first video was of us going into the beach and having a beach wild camp, and I went in for a wild swim, which was brilliant. And Tom did a bit of scouting about to try and find some locations to take photographs, and we had a wee bit of whiskey and went to bed. And then the second day we climbed the mountain after a fantastic sunrise. And what also made this trip really special was that there was wildfires going on at the time, which isn't a special thing or anything to kind of boast about, but in terms of being in this sort of wilderness area with all these fires and smoke around you, it just, I don't know if I'll experience that again. It was very, very, we weren't in any chance of getting burnt by any of the wildfires, but the smoke was coming and going. You know, 1 minute you wouldn't be able to see the quarry, which was, I don't know, a couple of 100 metres ahead of you, and if the wind changed, the smoke just blew away and the views would open up. It was amazing. So that was just fantastic. And the third day was, well, I've never had a breakfast as big as I had on that third day, and it was just an amazing trip. So go and give that one a watch. I'll put all the links, by the way. I'll link up here somewhere to each of them, but I'll also put all the links to the videos that I'm mentioning in the description below. So that's number 9. What can I say? Number 8. Once again, another fantastic location. One of my favourite mountains in Scotland. In fact, all these hills that we're talking about and locations are my favourites. So get used to me saying that. And in at number 8, it's not a big mountain. In fact, it's not even a Corbett, so it's even smaller than Ben Van, the one I was talking about. But this one is well known. It's really well known, and for all you'd expect it to be well known because it's a fantastic mountain, and it's Stac Pollaidh. And this adventure goes back to 2018, I think it was. And I decided to wild camp on the mountain, and I remember looking into it, and I wasn't very sure. I think I got contacted another landscape photographer who'd taken pictures. I think it was John McSporran. I remember contacting him through social media saying, is there anywhere to pitch a tent up there? I'd been up it before, but I couldn't remember. I knew it was quite rocky. And he said, yeah, I think you'll manage to get a tent up there. I think he'd been up. So I went up there, big backpack on, and there's literally enough space for one tent. Maybe, if you don't mind sort of rocks sticking into your back, you might get 2 up there at a push on the eastern summit. I wouldn't advise going there to wild camp, to be honest with you. It just doesn't, cramming your tent into a tiny wee space doesn't make it the most comfortable, and I certainly didn't get the most comfortable night's sleep. But it was fantastic. And Stac Pollaidh, one of the reasons I like it so much, it's not just the views. I mean, the views are spectacular. And on this video, I've got some great drone footage of the areas and the lock-in splattered landscapes of Ascent. Absolutely beautiful. But the other thing which I really like about Stac Pollaidh is you can do a wee bit of scrambling. In fact, if you want to get to the true summit, you have to go over this sort of bad step. And it is quite exposed. A slip here would, yeah, you wouldn't want to slip at the bad step, put it that way. It's not too difficult. If you know where the moves are, you can do it. And if you look at this video, it shows you where it shows me going up round the bad step and what have you. And you can make the scrambling as easy or as difficult as you want. And it's just everything about Stac Pollaidh just combines into this wee compact, perfect mountain. But that's great. I've done lots of trips up Stac Pollaidh, but what puts it in my top 10 on this vlog was all to do with the wild camp, and it was all to do really with the sunrise. The sunset was good. It wasn't too bad, you know, enjoyed it. The wind picked up overnight, didn't sleep very well. And I remember waking in the morning, it didn't look like anything was going to happen. There was quite a lot of cloud. But when I scanned the eastern horizon, I just saw this little letterbox gap between the cloud and the ground, right on the horizon. Oh, and when the sun came up or started to show itself, it lit up the clouds because that wee letterbox was allowing the sunlight in, and it was fabulous. So that's one of the reasons why this vlog is in there. Now, the sunrise was good, but what was happening when the sunrise was occurring, and I think you'll see this in the video, is I had the camera and I was trying to get some sunrise shots, and I was pointing it east to this beautiful pink and red sky over the other mountains of Ascent, and the light was streaming in between Sullivan and Culmore and Carisp and all these famous mountains. And I was so focused looking the one way, I happened to turn around to get something out of my bag, and I turned around and at my back there was this amazing rainbow, and it's hard to explain. It wasn't a normal rainbow. I think in some places they're called red rainbows, and they're caused by the refracted light before the sun actually gets up. So it was this red rainbow, and I've never seen it since. And it was just amazing. That was just one of those moments where I was so glad that I turned round. Had I been holding the camera here and then gone back to look at the footage and seen this amazing rainbow from my back, I would have missed it all. So that was just absolutely fantastic. I've never had a bad trip up Stac Pollaidh. It's just great. So that's in at number 8. Where do we go to now? Another amazing location, one of my favourite locations, at number 7. And this goes back to 2014, although I could put a vlog, or I have put vlogs up, I think, every year. I've done YouTube from the spot, and there's just so many of them, and there's a reason why I keep going back to this hill, and it's mainly due to its views. It is a very, very special place. I love it. Anyway, so in at number 7 is a winter wild camp from 2014 in Glencoe on a hill called Benacruileast. And as I said, that's one of my favourite conditions. And this was a good trip. It was really, really cold. I don't think it had been that cold a winter, to be honest with you, in 2014. But on this night, it was down to -10, or that's what the forecasts were saying. It certainly was the coldest, or one of the coldest wild camps that I've ever done. It was just great. The views, as always, from this hill were fantastic. I've probably done better vlogs from this hill, perhaps, maybe a bit more slick. I mean, this is an old one, but the weather was just great. I was playing about with astrophotography. It was the first time that I picked up any of the northern lights, although it was only in the camera. It wasn't on I couldn't see it with the naked eye. It was the first time I'd ever photographed them or got that glow on the horizon, which I was super excited about at the time. And when I woke up in the morning, there was lots of sort of mist rolling around the hills, and it doesn't really come across in the footage, but I remember waking and watching the light coming up and just thinking, this is the most amazing light I've ever seen, and I was really excited to see what it looked like on film. and it didn't look that great. But the rest of the film was pretty good. So that's in at number 7. What have we got now at where are we? Number 6, right. Down to number 6. What can we say about number 6? Skye. Yeah, once again, just one of my favourite places. And it was this is from last year actually. This is from the summer of 2019. And I had a bit of a toss-up as to whether I would do or put in at number 6. There were 2 that were fighting out for the number 6 spot. There was the Blackcoolan Ridge and my trip up the Stone Shoot to Sgúr Alistair and then on to Sgúr McConaughey along Colley's Ledge, which was absolutely fabulous. And that, now, as I'm talking about this now, I'm thinking that should have made it to number 6, but it didn't. What I've put it to number 6 is Blaven. I did an ascent of Blaven, and I think the reason why I did this was all about expectations. It was a family trip and only had a few hours, and I left about 5 o'clock I think, and as I got closer I went round Loch Slappin and I could see Blaven, and there was this cloud in the top, and as I was going up I met a few people coming down. They were like, oh, so disappointed, it's actually drizzling up there and can't see 2 foot in front of you. And I kind of thought, I'm here anyway, I'll go up. And the forecast was promising, and as I went up along the rough rocky ground, the cliffs that drop off to your right and the views over to the Red Coolan are just absolutely amazing. And there was that kind of, it was almost kind of, I don't know how to describe it, the sunlight was kind of coming through the cloud, it wasn't too thick, and there was like mountains appearing every now and again out of the mist. It was just amazing. Anyway, as I got to the top, the final stretch, I looked behind me and the sky above me was going blue, and I could just see my shadow and I could see my Brocken and the glories, the Brocken Spectre behind me. And I suppose I stopped the video, I think I've got it on camera there. And just as I was walking up to the summit, the cloud lowered just below the summit, and I started to see above the clouds, and I could see right over to the Blackcoolan. You know, it was just so good. And because it was a late, I was pushing it for getting back down in the daylight, and because it was a late arrival this time, the only people I met were on the way up, and most of them, it was below halfway, so I had the summit completely to myself, and I must have sat up there for about an hour and a half, just feeling so lucky. I hadn't been feeling so lucky, to be honest with you, earlier in the day, because that day we were meant to be going on a trip to St Kilda. But the guys that were doing the new boat trips, they'd bought this new boat, which we thought, that's great, a new boat. I think the issue was they basically rogered it because they didn't realise I don't know the technical term, but the bit of the motor that goes into the water like a rudder, or I don't know, somebody will be shouting at me now, tell me what it is. But they'd come into the harbour and didn't realise that was a lot longer in their old boat and basically knackered it. So our trip to St Kilda was unfortunately cancelled, which was disappointing. But then, had that not happened, I wouldn't have found myself on top of Blaven by myself. But those views, which Skye has, which is amazing. So, what time are we at? I'm kind of waffling on about. I think what I'm going to have to do is I've got the top 5 here now. But you know what? I'm going to stop the video here, and I think next Sunday, I'll go and do the top 5. So, why don't you? I don't know, why don't you put in your comments below what you think the top 5 are. I'm not going to change it because I've got it here and I'll film it now. But because it's going to be quite a long video, I'll not put it out to next week. So let me know what you think is going to be in the top 5 and maybe my top vlog from over the years. Anyway, if you get a chance to watch them, all the links are down below the 10 to 6 countdown there. I also said I'd give you a bit of an update on the channel. So as of today, this weekend, we've still got a lot of weeks ahead of us where we're not going to get out. We're still in lockdown. I'm hoping to continue the Wednesday night vlogs as long as I can. I do have 5 more from recent times before the lockdown, and then I do think I've got 4 or 5 that I can put out historical vlogs which have never been out before, which for one reason or the other I didn't do or didn't publish at the time. So as long as I can, I will try and keep the Wednesday night vlogs going. In terms of these Sunday vlogs, I'm going to try and get them out weekly until this is all over, because, well, I ain't going to be going out at the weekend, so I'm going to be trying to get one vlog done on a Saturday for a release on a Sunday. Once again, you guys sent me so many good ideas. I think I've probably got enough to keep me going, but if you can think of anything else you want me to do a vlog on, whether it's a gear review on anything that I use, or anything, just put them down in the comments below. Right, yeah, I'll see you on Wednesday night for another outdoor adventure, and then next Sunday for my top 5 countdown. Stay safe out there, guys. Thanks for watching.